Everybody has their own little Halloween traditions. Either it be certain decorations, certain movies, certain games. For me, it's playing Super Castlevania IV on the Super Nintendo. So, I figured, why not share this tradition? First, I need to turn on the TV, obviously. Hopefully that'll be loud enough, but I think the other monitor I have will be just fine. Turn it on. Gotta love that clicking noise. Wait, it's all set? Very good. Ah, yes. Back when they used to make games. It's just something about that title screen that looks so much better in black and white. I don't know what it is. I think maybe it's because it's kind of monochrome to begin with. Well, ordinarily whenever I do these Let's Play videos, so to speak, I always like to do it with another person. That way I can kind of bounce off conversation ideas, come up with topics. But it just seems like scheduling has not been working out, so figured I would just do this on my own, see what I can do. I'm going to skip that intro for now. So, got the cord wrapped around it. Let's start. I love that noise. I'll go with my name. I guess the main thing is I gotta remember to actually talk, because I could probably play this entire game in complete silence, aside from a few grunts and groans on the Frankenstein stage. Now, one of the things that's really interesting is if you look at the skull in the background, there are bats that fly in and out of it every so often. It's kind of weird that they put that much detail in just a little background object. Going up the stairs. I know you don't have to, but it's just fun to walk the stairs backwards like that. A little opening area, just to kind of tell you how to get acquainted with the controls and such. Oh no, the bridge. This is probably quite a feat to be able to do at the time. The idea of the background going up, and the idea that the character can interact with it like that. It's very interesting. There's quite a few technical aspects of this game that are pretty revolutionary for the time. Oh, looks like I got that skeleton to despawn. So, the big hole here. Gotta go through the door. Got the candles. I wonder, is there anything all the way over? I don't think I've ever done this before. Nope. I kind of figured it was worth a shot, maybe there'd be a secret area. The idea of doing this background thing, like the idea I'm in a separate spot, I think that was probably pretty revolutionary for the time as well. And the idea that you can't interact with the objects that are in front of you, only behind you. I know I don't have to whip every single candle, but more hearts is a good thing. And a chicken wing never hurts. That's just what I call the miniature. I believe they call it a pork chop. That's how you revive your health in this game. It's kind of the thing that's a little backwards about this series, is the idea that hearts are ammo for the weapon that you have in hand instead of, well, refilling your health like every other game. But I guess it's just something to be a little different. I wonder if maybe there's a lore behind that, like the idea that maybe these hearts were like from the victims of Dracula that have been taken, and Simon is trying to... I lost faith in that theory about halfway through it. Probably one of the things that's really nice about the fourth game, compared to, say, the first game, is how those little skull spires, so to speak, they take a lot less hits. And I just lost the axe. I was hoping to keep the cross, or at least that's what I call it. I'm not sure what it's actually called. The knife is okay, but there are just so many other better weapons in this game. And then you got a little bit of practicing so you can swing around. I feel like that was probably pretty revolutionary for the time as well. Be interesting if such a feat could be done on the original Nintendo. I really don't know that much about the technicals, and with today's modern technology, it seems like the barrier between what can be done and what can only be dreamed of is starting to break down. Well, there's 2 invincibility vessels in this one. Got him. Probably another really good thing about this game is the music. There's only like 1 or 2 tracks I'm not too big a fan of, but this first stage is pretty good. I guess that's about all I have to say about that. Once again, this is another reason why I like to have this sort of conversation with other people. It can kind of go into different areas. Somebody else can pick up the silence when you run out of things to talk about. But whatever. We're here to enjoy a good old-fashioned Halloween tradition. Well, maybe not old-fashioned. I only first got the Super Nintendo maybe at most 10 years ago. I was pretty happy when I got this game. Now the interesting thing is, when it comes to the first Castlevania game, I have no problem with playing that year-round. But this one, I always like to save for the month of October. I think the main thing is it's because it's a lot easier than the other games in the franchise, especially the third game. The third game is not only hard, but it's just soul-crushing is the best way I can describe it. It's probably the only hard game I ever beaten where I felt no satisfaction after doing so. In fact, I'm pretty sure right after I beat it, maybe I played a few more levels, but then I just got rid of it. Now don't get me wrong, Castlevania 3 isn't necessarily a bad game, it's just brutal. And plus the idea there's different paths to select, different characters to choose from, it's like, there's no way to tell what is the best way to do it. It's all just trial and error, and I'm pretty convinced I probably took the hard path. I like whenever you hit the horse, it makes a galloping noise. And it makes a howling noise when you kill it for some reason. Ow. One more. Be cleansed by the holy fire! Ha ha ha. Now let me see if I can get an epic pose. Sort of epic. What was fun in the first game is that you could still move your character up and down by jumping as well as whipping until they started counting up the score, so you can try to create a better pose that way. And then you got this map screen, similar to Castlevania 3 in that aspect, but you don't have to figure out which path is the best because there's only one path. It just shows you which way you're going. There's something about this level 2 theme I find particularly relaxing. I don't know what it is. In fact, I think I probably like this theme better than the first one. Kind of jumbled that sentence, didn't I? I always hate how those hands kind of grab you at random intervals. I get the idea there's supposed to be legions of the undead trying to drag you down with them, but it's very annoying. I'd say when it comes to all the games in the Castlevania franchise, well, at least the retro ones. You know what, I'm just going to say in the main series, because I think there was only ever really a Castlevania 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then after that they started adding subtitles. But I think 4 is the best. You got the good combination of challenge, as well as just being really fun to play. Castlevania 1, I think the challenge is a bit more intense, but it also is pretty fun. In fact, you could probably get a few stages in before it gets to a point where you can't stand it anymore. Castlevania 2, it's mostly cryptic, which is the problem. I love this part of the song. that stopwatch too much in this game anyway. I still find it weird that Frog is an enemy. It just seems kind of out of character with all the other legions of the undead. At least with these crows or ravens, you got an association. Because, well, the raven from Edgar Allan Poe and a group of crows is what's known as a murder. And I'm just going to leave that for... No! Go away! Okay, I got him. Or I got it. Might as well use gender neutral pronoun going at it. Hey, I got the cross. That's very nice. Trying to think about what else there is to talk about. Maybe I'll just play the game, and if there's a talking point, I'll just kind of bring it up. They certainly give you a lot of pork chops in this one, don't you? Don't they? Oh, I got a one up. Just want to listen to that one part of the music again. Plus, I'm pretty thirsty, so I better get some water. Well, on Medusa, which I swear if you just added in 2 dots in just the right place, you would have a rated endgame. It was a lot easier than in the first game. To the waterfall. So we got severed arms attacking me. Some of the enemies in this game just don't make any sense. Like the frogs, the severed arms. There's probably a few others, but those are the only ones I can think of right away. The Invincibility Potion. I guess that's another talking point right there. If you look, there's like little spikes on the top of each tower. Those are instant death. I get the idea that that was a general trend at the time, and well, even today, is the idea that spikes, as soon as you touch them instantly, you die. But it just seems a little unfair at times, because sometimes you can just barely nick them, and you just drop dead on a full health bar. At least with the whole pit drop, I mean, that's about as cheap, but at least there's some logic behind that. They fell to their doom. Well, here it's more like, ow, I scraped my leg. Oh, I'm dead. The flow of the water always keeps changing. It's very hard to show in the footage, but when you play the game, you definitely feel it. Oh, I even noticed there's like little bubbles behind Simon whenever he stands in the right spot. I guess that's one way to show the direction of the water. Interesting. On to stage 3. There's even a little sound effect for the droplet of water. That's really nice. Seems like the music's overpowering it a little though. Got the cross. Let's bring down the frame rate. Oh, the double shot. Very nice. Now when you get the double shot, ordinarily you can only throw 1 weapon at a time, but now you can throw 2. You can throw up to 3 if you get the triple shot, but it's kind of secretive as to where they are, so you both have to have the correct weapon as well as the right area in order to get the right shot, so to speak. On the little secret area. Now if you throw a weapon at it, it's not going to do anything, but if you whip it, it's not too crazy of a secret, but it's nice to get some extra hearts. And I believe there's holy water at the end. Or, oh, get a pork chop. I'm not really sure why they call it a pork chop. I mean, I think it looks more like a ham, in all honesty. But I guess that's what they called it in the first game, and they kept it true ever since. Holy water. Now when you pick up a new weapon, you lose the double shot, but rather you get a single shot of whatever weapon you have. Holy water is really nice when it comes to taking care of these guys. Which is why I wanted to switch. Oh, and he even got a heart out of it. That's kind of a little glitch, so to speak. If you're able to get multiple enemies or items with a weapon, they sometimes drop you little bonuses. I know in the original game, sometimes it would glitch and it would give you an invincibility vessel. I couldn't think of the term for some reason. And when that happens and you go through a door, the game crashes. So it's kind of an interesting bug. Boom. Ah, there's the triple shot. I wasn't sure if it was something you had to earn or if they gave it to you. I remember one of them is a cross. It must be across the bridge. Across. Maybe it's here. Okay, that's just funny. I guess it was on the bridge is where the cross is. A little bit of a walkthrough for you, I guess. Just missed it. Wow, I've got 100 hearts. I know it says 99, but that's as high as it goes. I guess that means I'm doing really good. I almost killed myself while saying that. I guess that's what happens when you try to show off sometimes. Just kind of burned his hair, but he's alright. Good. I know you don't have to lit all the candles, but there's just something rather satisfying about it. And plus you might find a secret here or there. I believe this one is the knife. Yeah. So I sort of have this game memorized. Not completely, though. It's still the one section on the Frankenstein stage where there's like an invisible bridge. I have still to this day yet to figure it out. Usually I just get lucky, and then I'm able to pass through it. Of course, there's a lot of other problems with that stage. Maybe we'll get to it in all due time. I do hope that I can record the whole game like this, but it all depends on the timing of it all. Wait, if you stand right here, then you don't have to worry about those bricks hitting you. I know it probably destroys the whole intensity of the things coming after you. Nah, I just lost the holy water. Oh well. At least I was able to take care of that crying ghost. I don't know the name of most of the enemies in this game. Whenever I would buy a cartridge game like this, it would be just the cartridge. I never had the manual. And even if I did, I'm not sure if I would have read it. I guess it really all depends on the game. I know I read the manual for Super Mario Bros. 3. Ah, I wanted the cross, not the knife. Oh well. Just gotta watch out for those things that spit at you, otherwise they're gonna knock me off the platform. There we go. I still have 100 hearts. That will not last long. I don't know what it is. I always die at least once on this stage. Or more often than not, at least. See if I can do this right. Boom. I'm not really sure why they have that upper platform. I don't think it's even reachable. Unless maybe they just wanted to put that there to stuff it with enemies. Good, I didn't get the axe. Maybe the axe would have actually been good for this boss. Oh well. As you can tell, I've played this game a lot. It's basically been a tradition that I play this every Halloween since... How long have I had this game? I'd say at least maybe 10 years. It's one thing people always told me is that the older you get, the faster time goes by, and only now I'm really starting to believe it. Which, hey, I'm perfectly fine with that. I remember as a kid there'd be a movie that would come out in the summer, and it seemed like I'd have to wait a whole year in order to ever watch it again on DVD or VHS, whatever it came out on. Well, those crows didn't destroy me too badly, at least. I believe this one's a chicken wing. Yeah. I know it's probably called a mini pork chop or something, but it looks like a chicken wing if you ever see it in color. So if for some odd reason you're new to this channel and somehow this is the first video you've seen, well, the main reason I go with the whole black and white TV is because there's a lot of other Let's Players out there that do their streams or playthroughs in color. I figured this was a way to kind of separate myself from the competition. Besides, there are some games I play on this TV that look really good. I think this one looks okay, for the most part. But part of the problem is the camera doesn't really capture the essence of the black and white too easily, since it always seems to look more blue for some reason. I'm probably gonna die on this. Or maybe not. Ooh, so close. 2 pieces of health. See, I told you I would die at least once. Maybe I should go to Nostradamus' hotline. Yeah, let's be honest. If I could predict the future, I probably would have transitioned years ago. Oh well. Better late than never. And this time, I've got the axe. See if I can get him? Yeah. I always find it a little ludicrous to give you this tiny little platform to be able to whip this guy on. And then half the hearts always disappear, but I guess maybe that's why they made him 5 instead of 1. Aha! I'm on to you! Aha! Very nice. Sometimes there's a perk to doing something all over again. I'm gonna get the chicken wing anyway. I'm feeling chicken wing. There we go. Alright, let's try this boss again. Feeling a lot more confident since the ravens or the crows or whatever didn't really take away that much health. Just gotta wait for the water to fill, because I guess that's something hydras do. Although I think traditionally a hydra has... Well, actually, wait, a hydra is from Greek mythology. I believe it was in the Legend of Hercules, where when you chop up one head, 3 more come by. So I find it weird that it's already starting off with 2 heads. But of course, this is also a reference to Castlevania IV as well. I remember there was one boss fight which was basically the same dragon as that. Call it a Hydra. Alright. Well, there we go. I think I'll call it a part there. Join me next time where we take on stage 4. If you can actually read Roman numerals. It seems short, but it's very deceptively short.